I will repeat, it will be crucial that all parties comply with the time allocated. The parties will be notified of the balance of time on each activity through the clerks at the table. In summary, the program states that after we have dispensed with the preliminary matters today, Wednesday, 16th of October 2024, the charges against the Deputy President, as submitted by the National Assembly, shall be read. Thereafter, His Excellency the Deputy President will be given an opportunity to take a plea on the charges. This will be followed by an opening statement by the National Assembly and the Deputy President. After the conclusion of the opening statements, the presentation of the case of the National Assembly shall commence. The National Assembly will have a maximum of 3 hours for presentation of the case and re-examination, while the Deputy President will be allocated 2 hours for cross-examination of witnesses after presentation of the case by the National Assembly. Honorable Senators will be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarification from the National Assembly. This should take us up to the end of today's sitting. At the sitting scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, the 17th of October 2024, His Excellency the Deputy President will present his case before the Senate. The Deputy President will have a maximum of 3 hours for presentation of the case and re-examination, while the National Assembly will be allowed 2 hours for cross-examination of witnesses. Honorable Senators will also be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarifications from the Deputy President, following which the closing statements by the parties will be made for a period not exceeding 1 hour each. As provided for under Rule 27 of the Rules of Procedure for removal of Deputy President by impeachment, after the closing statements have been made, the hearing shall conclude and the Senate shall proceed into camera session to deliberate on the issues raised. The Senate shall thereafter proceed to debate a special motion prior to voting on each of the charges. At this stage, a supplementary order paper will be issued to facilitate this debate. In accordance with Article 145(7) of the Constitution and Standing Order 788 of the Senate, the voting shall be by all senators. The Deputy President shall cease to hold office if at least 2/3 of all senators vote to uphold any of the impeachment charges. If, however, the vote in the Senate fails to result in the removal of the Deputy President, the Speaker of the Senate shall notify the Speaker of the National Assembly accordingly. Honorable Senators, I now invite Counsel for the National Assembly to introduce the legal team of the National Assembly and the members representing the National Assembly by stating the full name and designation of each person. You may proceed, Counsel.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for the National Assembly, the legal representation is as follows. The Honorable James Orengo, Senior Counsel, leading the team. Mr. Paul Nyamodi, Legal Counsel. Myself, Eric Gumbo, Legal Counsel. Dr. Mudomi Viankolu, Legal Counsel. Mr. Moses Kipkogei, Legal Counsel. Mr. Peter Wanyama, Legal Counsel. Mr. Ken Meli, Legal Counsel. And Mr. Mwangi Kangu, Legal Counsel. Mr. Speaker, sir, this team is further assisted by a team of our younger colleagues, Mr. Alex Mbaya, Legal Counsel. Mr. Elias Ouma, Legal Counsel. Mr. Eric Muriuki, Legal Counsel. Mr. Boniface Mawira, Legal Counsel. And Ms. Joanne Jeruto, Legal Counsel. From the National Assembly, we have the Honorable Otiende Amolo, Senior Counsel. We have the Honorable George Gitonga Murugara. We have the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga. We have the Honorable John Makali. And we also have the Honorable Zamzam Mohammed. I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I similarly now invite counsel for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to introduce the legal team representing His Excellency the Deputy President by stating the full name and designation of each person. Counsel, you may proceed.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, honorable senators, the legal team representing His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is present in this august house, are as follows. Myself, Paul Muite, Elisha Ongoya, Tom Macharia, Soanya Victor Ogeto, Ndego Wanjiru, John Jomo, Faith Waigwa, Amos Kisilu, George Wandati, George Sakiba, Andrew Muge, Eric Naibei, Mrs. Julia Omwamba, and Mr. Willis Echeza. Mheshimiwa Speaker, we will be raising an issue about one of the members of the legal team read out this morning as representing the National Assembly. I thank you, and I thank honorable members.
Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Senate, I welcome the National Assembly and its team, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua EGS, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and his team, members of the public and the media, to the Senate and to these proceedings. Now, as you're aware, Article 118 of the Constitution mandates Parliament to conduct its business in an open manner, and that its sittings and those of its committees shall be open to the public. The hearing of the proposed removal from office of the Deputy President pursuant to Article 145 of the Constitution, Standing Order 78, and the second schedule to the standing orders of the Senate is a matter that has generated immense public interest. The Senate, in this particular hearing, has facilitated members of the public who are interested in the proceeding to access its galleries. However, I draw the attention of the members of public who are seated in the galleries to Rule 28 of the Speaker's rules, which state as follows. Visitors in the galleries shall remain seated, shall not applaud, comment audibly, make signs, eat, sleep, read books, newspapers, or other material except the order paper for the day, or create any disturbance. I request the members of public to observe the aforesaid rule. Any member of the public who contravenes the Speaker's rule will be inviting stern action against them, which includes expulsion from the precincts of Parliament. The office of the Clerk of the Senate is directed to ensure compliance with the Speaker's rules. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I now invite the Clerk to read the particulars of the allegations against His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Clerk, you may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my name is Ndego Wanjiru, and perhaps before we proceed to the next session, my learned senior counsel, Paul Muite, did raise an issue that we have an objection in terms of the appearances of legal counsel appearing for the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, our objection is in line with the conduct of this House, and the records bear as witness that we also have, we'll also be relying on an authority in our objection. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are raising an objection to the appearance of my senior advocate, legal counsel, James Orengo, to represent the National Assembly in these proceedings. And this is the basis of our objection briefly, that my learned friend, senior James Orengo, is a full-time serving state officer as per Article 260 of the Constitution, as read together with Section 26, subsection 2 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, which bars a full-time state officer from engaging in meaningful employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, it will be prejudicial to our client if this House was to allow my learned friend, senior James Orengo, to represent the National Assembly in these proceedings. Mr. Speaker, sir, just recently, this House, which is a House of record, we bear as witness that during the impeachment of the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, the County Assembly attempted to appear by legal counsel represented by one Honorable Soro. An objection was raised by my learned friend, Senator Chargei, which objection was sustained by this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, our objection is further premised in the High Court decision, that is High Court Constitutional Petition 204 of 2019, where Justice Ogola barred His Excellency the Governor of Siaya County from representing the then Director General of Kenya Port Authority, one Daniel Maduk. The judgment is before this honorable House that a person who is engaged in full-time employment cannot then purport to appear and represent a party before this assembly. It will raise serious conflict of interests. The same will prejudice our client, and it's also in violation of clear provisions of the law as cited. In that respect, Mr. Speaker, sir, we invite you to uphold our objection before the charges are read out to the to our client. Mr. Speaker, sir, in this ruling that I've just cited, the court was of the view that a person who is engaged in full-time engagement as a state officer cannot and is barred from representing a party in a private capacity. We so beseech you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to uphold our objection. I am most humbled.
Counsel for the National Assembly, if you look at our program, the preliminary objections were to be raised after His Excellency has taken plea. And therefore, we'll allow the clerk to read the charges. Before anything else, I will allow the Counsel for the National Assembly to respond, and therefore I will make my ruling, and then we'll take it from there.
I am most obliged, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Particulars of the allegations. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, please take the stand. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the grounds for your proposed removal from office by impeachment, as received by the Senate from the National Assembly, are as follows. Part A, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law pursuant to Article 51(b)(1) of the Constitution. Ground 1, gross violation of Articles 10, 2A, B, and C, 27(4), 73(1)A and 2B, 75(1)C, and 129(2) of the Constitution, and Articles 147(1), as read with Article 131(2)C and D of the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution provides, among other things, that the people of Kenya adopted and enacted it, A, being proud of the ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and a determination to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation, and B, recognizing the aspirations of all Kenyans for a government based on the essential values of human rights, equality, freedom, democracy, social justice, and the rule of law. The preamble of the Constitution is supplemented by Article 10, 2A, B, and C of the Constitution, which establishes the core national values and principles of governance that bind all state officers, including the Deputy President. These values and principles include patriotism, human dignity, national unity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, non-discrimination, equality, human rights, protection of the marginalized, democracy, and good governance. Moreover, Articles 73(1)A and 2B of the Constitution establish responsibilities of leadership. They provide that the authority assigned to a state officer, such as the Deputy President, is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that is consistent with the purpose and objects of the Constitution, demonstrates respect for the people, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office, and promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office. Also, Article 27(4) of the Constitution prohibits all forms of discrimination, including discrimination based on ethnic or social origin, conscience, belief, language, and birth. Further, Article 73(2)B of the Constitution provides that decision-making should be objective and impartial and should not be influenced by favoritism and improper motives. Furthermore, Article 75(1)C of the Constitution provides that a state officer should behave, whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids demeaning the office he holds. Therefore, as a matter of constitutional compliance, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is the principal assistant to the President of the Republic, is required, A, to promote the constitutional core values such as peace and unity of all Kenyans in the context of ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, patriotism, national unity, rule of law, democracy, and participation of the people, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized and good governance. B, to respect and uphold representation of Kenya's multi-ethnic and culturally diverse society through the promotion of equality and affording equal opportunities to all Kenyans in appointments to the public service and allocation of public resources. And C, to make, promote, and implement public policy decisions that do not discriminate against any Kenyan based on conscience, ethnic or social origin, language, or birth. However, on diverse dates throughout the last 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently made utterances threatening to discriminate, exclude, and unlawfully deny sections of the people of Kenya and regions of the Republic of Kenya equal opportunities for public service appointments and allocation of public resources. Besides, the utterances are highly inflammatory and insightful and significantly undermine national unity and the peaceful coexistence of Kenya's diverse communities. To illustrate, sometime in 2023, at a public forum in Kajiado County within the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made highly inflammatory and insightful public pronouncements to the effect that the government of Kenya is a company and that the allocation of government development projects and public sector jobs are based on shares determined by how the populace of the various ethnic communities voted in the 2022 general election. Specifically, he stated as follows, quote, "A government is like a company. There is shareholding. Kuna wale who have invested a lot of shares, kuna wale wameweka kidogo, kuna wale wamekataa, lakini wote ni wa Kenya. So ndio tukasema, kama wewe umeenda kupanda mahindi, ama wacha nipeane example ya ng'ombe, kwa sababu niko Kajiado. Wewe uko na ng'ombe yako ya maziwa, hiyo ng'ombe imezaliwa ikiwa njao, umeichunga vizuri, umepatia majani, umenunulia dairy meal, umepatia chumvi, umepeleka kwa malisho, umepatia maji, imezaa, imeanza kukamuliwa. Wewe unatakiwa kwanza ukue mtu ya kwanza kukamua hiyo ng'ombe na kunywa maziwa." End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua emphasized the divisive and insightful narrative embodied in the above utterances as follows, quote, "Haiwezekani mtu ambaye alikuwa anakupigia kelele ukichunga hii ng'ombe na kusema hii ng'ombe ni ile ya kienyeji, hakuna haja ya kushughulika naye. Hii ng'ombe ni bure, haiwezi kutoa maziwa. Hii ng'ombe hata ikipona jicho moja, wachana nayo, unapoteza wakati. Saa ile ng'ombe imezaa, imetoa maziwa, amekuja na kikombe, amekuja na sufuria, anataka atolewe maziwa. Mimi nikasema hiyo haiwezekani. Nikasema yule mwenye hii ng'ombe na kuichunga na kuitunza, kwanza akamue maziwa, yeye na watoto wake wakunywe. Ile itabaki aitie majirani. Hata yule alikuwa anapiga kelele akisema hii ng'ombe ni bure na haiwezekani, kama kunayo imebaki pia apewe. Kama hakuna imebaki atembee. Si namna hiyo?" End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made similar remarks at another public forum as follows, quote, "A government is like a company. I did not say it is a company. I said it is like a company. In every company, there are shares, preferential shares and ordinary shares. When there is an AGM, non-shareholders do not vote or attend the AGM. When there are dividends to be divided, they are divided according to the number of shares. That is the truth." End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua continued the insightful and divisive utterances at yet another forum where he stated as follows, quote, "Si lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Sisi lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Hii serikali ni kampuni na ni ya shares. Si ndio? Ni ya shares. Kuna wenye kampuni, wale wako na shares mingi, wale wako na chache. Kuna wale hawana. Sasa nyinyi mliinvest kwa hii kampuni ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua. Sasa lazima mvune. Yule ambaye alipanda atafanya nini? Simulipanda. Simuliamka mapema." End of quote. At another forum in Nandi County, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua continued the same divisive and insightful narrative as follows. Quote, Raisa ako pale niko hapo. Raisa ako pale niko hapo. Huyu Felix ako hapo. Mimi mnanijua msimamo wangu ya kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi kuna wale kwanza ya kuangaliwa. Si mnajua? Sasa huyu Felix ako pale ndiye kuunganisha mawaya. Mambo yenu tumepanga. Mambo iko sawa. Chakula iko jikoni, karibu kuiva. Watoto ni wengi, chakula ni kidogo. Iko watoto ya nyumbani, iko wajirani. Iko namna hiyo. Na nyinyi mtulie. Chakula ikiiva, sisi ndio wenye kupakua. Na watoto tunawajua kwa sura na kwa msimamo. Hatuwezi kuwa confused. Kuna mtu hajui watoto wake? Na wiki inakuja tutatangaza hatua kali ile tutachukua na ile maneno tumepanga. End of quote. In addition, in September 2024, during a public rally in Nairobi, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made public utterances that incited other communities against the ethnic communities that live around the Mount Kenya region by stating as follows, quote, na mimi mkaniambia nimsaidie rais kwa kazi, lakini nikiwa hapo kwa serikali, nikuwe pia nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima. Niendelee kuchunga mambo ya mlima ama nisichunge? Sasa hiyo kuchunga mambo ya mlima inaniletea matatizo. Ati naambiwa mimi ni mkabila. Mimi ni mkabila kweli? Nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima, iko makosa? Iko makosa? End of quote. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's utterances throughout the past 2 years undermined the promotion of national unity in the context of Kenyan society's multi-ethnic demography.
Clerk, just pause for a bit. Honorable Senators, just put your phones on silence. Please, proceed, Clerk.
Repeat. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's utterances throughout the past 2 years undermined the promotion of national unity in the context of Kenyan society's multi-ethnic demography and multicultural diversity. In addition, they have the potential to alienate, isolate, and create disharmony among the various ethnic communities of Kenya. In summary, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's above-mentioned utterances over the last 2 years are impeachable offenses to the extent that they grossly violate Articles 10, 2A, B, and C, 27.4, 73.1A and 2B, 75.1C, and 129.2 of the Constitution, and Article 147.1 as read with Article 131.2C and D of the Constitution. Specifically, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's divisive and insightful public utterances over the last 2 years, A, are incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, B, can stir ethnic hatred and promote ethnic balkanization of the Republic of Kenya, C, falsely alluded to an non-existent government policy to discriminate and marginalize the populace of the regions and tribes that did not vote for the current administration in the 2022 general elections. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 1, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 2, gross violation of Articles 147.1 and 152.1 of the Constitution. Article 147.1 of the Constitution provides that the Deputy President shall be the principal assistant of the President and shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. In addition, Article 152.1 of the Constitution states that the Deputy President is a member of the Cabinet. On various dates throughout the last 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua undermined the President and the Cabinet and the effective discharge of the national government's executive mandate by making unilateral public statements that were inconsistent with policy positions collectively adopted by the government. To illustrate, on or around 30th April 2024, the Cabinet passed a resolution for the evacuation of people residing along the Nairobi River. B, shortly after that, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made a public statement opposing the Nairobi River riparian evacuation orders, which the Cabinet had sanctioned for public safety and climate change mitigation. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made contradictory public statements despite being a member of the Cabinet and being assigned the function of superintending the Nairobi River riparian evacuation order. In addition, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has on several occasions throughout the last 2 years made public statements contradicting the President on critical matters of governance and the exercise of the President's functions as a symbol of national unity. To illustrate, in March 2023, at a public forum in the Nyanza region, the President said Kenya belongs to all, notwithstanding how people voted in the 2022 general elections, and that he would ensure the government does not discriminate against anyone. However, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, speaking after the President at another public forum, contradicted him by saying that Kenya is a company in which the provision of government services is based on shares. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has made numerous other utterances at public forums where he publicly restates the divisive narrative that Kenya is a company in which the rights of citizens are based on shares determined by how various ethnic communities voted in the 2022 general elections. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's unilateral, divisive, and insightful public statements are impeachable offenses to the extent that A, they undermine the effective discharge of the national government's executive mandate, B, they violate the doctrine of collective responsibility, C, they are equivalent to insubordination of the President, which is incompatible with his constitutional status as the principal assistant to the President of the Republic of Kenya. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 2, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 3, gross violation of Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, 189.1, and the 4th schedule to the Constitution, that is, undermining devolution. Article 10.2a of the Constitution provides that devolution is a fundamental national value and principle of governance. In addition, Article 6.2 of the Constitution provides that governments at the county and national levels are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations based on consultation and cooperation. These provisions are supplemented by Article 189(1) of the Constitution, which provides that governments at each level shall perform and exercise their powers in a manner that respects the functional and institutional integrity of government at the other level. Under paragraph 7A of Part 2 of the 4th schedule to the Constitution, county governments are responsible for trade development and markets as an exclusive function. Moreover, the Deputy President chairs the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, an essential organ for consultation between the two levels of government. On or around 20th September 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic, unlawfully interfered with the running of Nairobi City County government by holding a public rally in which he incited citizens against lawful directives of the Nairobi City County government on the planning and relocation of markets. Further, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua publicly disparaged the leadership of the Nairobi City County government and its decisions. Moreover, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has interfered with the proper discharge of county government's constitutional functions regarding alcohol control and regulation. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's insightful and demeaning public statements and conduct are impeachable offenses to the extent that A, they undermine devolution, B, they undercut the functional and institutional integrity of county governments, C, they unjustifiably vilify and ridicule the leadership of county governments, especially the Nairobi City County Government. Consequently, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Articles 6.2.
Clerk, just a minute. I realize what you're reading is fairly long. His Excellency the Deputy President, if you may will, you may sit, and when taking the plea, you may stand.
No, Mr. Speaker, let me stand.
You may proceed, Clerk.
I repeat, consequently, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has grossly violated Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, and 189.1 of the Constitution, as read with the fourth schedule to the Constitution. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 3, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 4, gross violation of Article 161 of the Constitution, that is, undermining the institutional and decisional independence of judges. Article 161 of the Constitution provides that the judiciary shall be subject only to this Constitution and the law, and shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. Many international law instruments, treaties, and principles require the guarantee of the judiciary's independence and require all government officers and institutions to respect and observe it. In 2023, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and the need to respect, protect, and uphold the independence of the judiciary, made a scathing public attack against the Honorable Lady Justice Esther Maina, Judge of the High Court of Kenya, and falsely threatened to file a petition for the removal of the said judge in gross violation of Article 165 of the Constitution. The Honorable Judge had presided over a case in which His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua was a party and had, in the lawful performance of her judicial function, ordered His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua to forfeit to the state the sum of Kenya shillings 200 million, which she had found to be proceeds of corruption and money laundering. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's public attacks against the judge are impeachable offenses to the extent that they undermine the functional and decisional independence of judges. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 4, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 5, gross violation of Articles 3.1 and 148.5a of the Constitution, that is, breach of the oaths of office and allegiance. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's actions and utterances outlined in grounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 constitute a gross violation of Article 3.1 of the Constitution, which requires every person to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. Further, the actions and utterances of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua grossly violate Article 148.5a of the Constitution, which prescribes the oath of allegiance of the office of the Deputy President, that obligates the Deputy President to obey, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and all other laws. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 5, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Part B, serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national law pursuant to Article 151b(2) of the Constitution. Ground 6, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 13(1)(a) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. Section 13 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act provides that it is an offense for any person to use threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior where the person intends to stir up feelings of ethnic contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or discrimination. The section also makes it an offense to use such words or engage in such behavior when, having regard to all the circumstances, ethnic hatred is likely to be stirred up. Besides, Section 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act states that a person commits an offense when the person makes statements that are intended or are likely to stir up feelings of ethnic contempt, hatred, hostility, violence, or discrimination. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's persistent, inflammatory, reckless, insightful public utterances over the last 2 years, the details of which are set out in grounds 1, 2, 3, and 4, establish serious reasons to believe that he has committed crimes under Section 13(1) and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 6, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 7, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Sections 45(1), 46, 47A(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, and Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceedings of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. For the past 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has inexplicably amassed a humongous property portfolio estimated at Kenya shillings 5.2 billion, primarily from proceeds of corruption and money laundering. The value of the property and wealth that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired over the last 2 years is incompatible with his non-legitimate income, that is Kenya shillings 12 million per annum or thereabouts. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired the above-mentioned property and wealth using his 2 sons, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua, that is Kevin Gachagua, and Keith Ikinu Rigathi, that is Keith Ikinu, and other close family members and associates as proxies. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua and his proxies, especially the 2 sons, have used the following companies to massively launder money, conceal proceeds of crime, corruption, and benefit from influence peddling. Number 1, Spiritway Limited, PVT-Y2ULDMKY, date of incorporation 14th of September 2023, shareholders Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, who is director, stroke shareholder, stroke beneficial owner with 100 shares. 2, Fortis Viz Group Limited, PVT-MKUMAKEE, date of incorporation 14th of February 2023, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua with 50 shares and Keith Ikinu Rigathi 50 shares. 3, Grand Bypass Apartments Limited, PVT-5JUZEKL8, date of incorporation 11th of January 2024, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua, director, John Mwai Madhenge of 7676931 as director, Peter Njoroge Regeru, number 4686103, director, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, shareholder with 1 share. 4, Kuruwitu Properties Limited, PVT-EYUBKG83, date of incorporation 26th of April 2023, shareholders Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, as shareholder with 1,000 shares, and John Mwai Madenge. Number 5, the Anansi Collective, BN-JRCG76AG, date of incorporation 29th of March 2021, shareholders Keith Ikinu Rigathi. 7, Calvary Creed International Limited, number CPR/2015/186-154, date of incorporation 16th of April 2015, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua with 50 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi 950 shares. 8, Cosmia Venture Limited, number PVT-Q7ULE6Z, date of incorporation 26th of February 2018. Shareholders Herman Zoita Maina 200 shares, James Mwangi Kagodho 50 shares, Kevin Rigathi Gachagua 250 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi 50 shares, Irene Nyanjao Washira 250 shares, and David Kipkemboi Mudhamia 200 shares. Number 9, Cristo Kenya Limited, number CPR/2009/4898, date of incorporation 12th of June 2009, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua 200 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi 200 shares. 10, Delta Merchants Limited, number CPR/2009/4874, date of incorporation 9th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi 200 shares. 11, Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, number C159289, date of incorporation 5th of August 2008, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua as director, Keith Ikinu Rigathi, director, estate of the deceased James Nderito Gachagua, shareholder with 10,000 shares. 12, Rigathi Gachagua Foundation, number CLG-XXFXRG, date of incorporation 11th of November 2022, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua. 13, Dorcas Rigathi Foundation, number CLG-G9FV2G, date of incorporation 19th of October 2022, shareholders Kevin Rigathi Gachagua, Keith Ikinu Rigathi, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, Nancy Wamboi Kang'ethe. 14, Heartland Supplies Limited, number CPR/2009/4881, date of incorporation 11th of June 2009, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua, director as director, stock shareholder with 200 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder with 200 shares. 15, Karandi Farm Limited, number C94303, date of incorporation 25th of June 2001, shareholders Rigathi Gachagua as director, shareholder with 700 shares, Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder with 100 shares. 16, Morani Manufacturers Limited, number PVT-8LU7Q8GD, date of incorporation 13th of October 2021, shareholders Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi as director and shareholder, 200 shares, Keith Ikinu Rigathi, director and shareholder, 200 shares, Joshua Karianjahi Waiganjo, director, shareholder, 600 shares, and Grace Washuka Mwangi, beneficial owner. 17, Mothers of the Land Limited, number CLG-55FD3B, Date of incorporation, 1st of December 2021. Shareholders, Louisa Njeri Wanjiro, Director stroke member. Caroline Jepkemboi Waiyaki, Director stroke member. Lucy Njogoine Motegi, Director stroke member. Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, Director stroke member. 18, Pioneer Medical Kenya Limited, number CPR stroke 2009 stroke 4910, date of incorporation 9th of June 2009. Shareholders, Rigathi Gachagua as Director stroke shareholder, 200 shares. Dorcas Wanjiko Rigathi, Director and shareholder, 200 shares.